The man who plotted a terror attack on Taylor Swift concert 2 years ago has been sentenced. An Austrian court sentenced the 21-year-old to 15 years in prison yesterday. Court documents say the man, identified as Baron A, planned to set off a bomb outside the pop star's Vienna concert in 2024. He'd researched bomb-making techniques, and investigators found chemicals inside his home. Now, though he pleaded guilty in planning the thwarted attack, Austrian law still requires a trial.
Something happened behind the scenes of Taylor Swift's Eras tour that fans are still talking about today. Back in 2024, thousands of Swifties were preparing for what was supposed to be one of the biggest concert weekends in Europe. Hotels were booked, flights were packed, and excitement was at an all-time high. Then, without warning, Taylor Swift's Vienna concerts were canceled. At the time, many fans were disappointed and confused. But now, a major court ruling has revealed just how serious the situation really was, and why authorities believe they had no choice but to shut the event down. An Austrian court has now sentenced a 21-year-old man to 15 years in prison for planning what prosecutors described as a terrorist attack targeting Taylor Swift's concerts in Vienna. The case has shocked people around the world because investigators say the suspect wasn't simply making threats online. According to authorities, he had allegedly moved beyond extremist rhetoric and was actively preparing for a real attack that could have put thousands of lives at risk. The story began in the weeks leading up to Taylor Swift's highly anticipated Eras tour stop in Vienna. The concerts were expected to attract more than 170,000 fans over 3 nights, making them some of the largest entertainment events in Austria that year. For many fans, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see one of the world's biggest music stars perform live. But behind the scenes, intelligence agencies were monitoring information that suggested a serious threat was emerging. According to investigators, the suspect had become radicalized online and allegedly developed connections to extremist ideology linked to ISIS. Prosecutors told the court that he had consumed large amounts of extremist content and had begun discussing violent plans. Authorities claimed that his goal was to target the concert and cause mass casualties among the huge crowds expected to attend. Investigators later discovered materials that they say were intended for making explosives, along with evidence that he had been researching methods of carrying out an attack. What makes the case particularly frightening is how close authorities believe the plan came to becoming reality. The suspect was arrested only 1 day before Taylor Swift was scheduled to perform in Vienna. Officials say intelligence information helped them identify the threat and act before any attack could take place. The timing of the arrest is one of the reasons many security experts had described the operation as a potentially life-saving intervention. When the concerts were canceled, fans around the world reacted with disappointment and frustration. Many had spent significant amounts of money traveling to Austria. Some had planned entire vacations around the concerts, while others had waited months for the opportunity to attend. At first, not everyone understood why the shows had been canceled. However, as more details about the investigation emerged, many fans began to realize the seriousness of the threat authorities believed they had uncovered. During the recent court proceedings, prosecutors argued that the suspect had demonstrated a clear commitment to carrying out the attack. They presented evidence that they said showed extensive preparation and extremist motivation. The defense acknowledged the seriousness of the case, while reports indicate the defendant expressed remorse and apologized for his actions. However, the court ultimately concluded that the evidence justified a lengthy prison sentence. The judge sentenced the man to 15 years behind bars, one of the most significant terrorism-related sentences handed down in Austria in recent years. The ruling sends a strong message about how seriously European authorities are treating threats against large public gatherings. With concerts, sporting events, and festivals attracting enormous crowds, security agencies remain on high alert for potential attacks. The case has also reignited discussions about online radicalization. Security experts have repeatedly warned that extremist groups increasingly use the internet and social media to spread propaganda and recruit followers. In many cases, individuals can become deeply involved in extremist networks without ever meeting members face to face. Authorities believe this trend represents one of the biggest security challenges facing governments today. Looking back, many people now view the cancellation of Taylor Swift's Vienna concerts very differently. What initially appeared to be a disappointing decision for fans may have prevented a tragedy that could have made headlines around the world for all the wrong reasons. While fans missed out on seeing one of the biggest tours in music history, authorities argue that protecting lives had to remain the top priority. Now, with the court's verdict officially delivered, one chapter of this shocking story has come to an end. But the case remains a powerful reminder of the hidden threats that security agencies work to stop every day. It also highlights how quickly a celebration involving tens of thousands of people can become a potential target, and how critical timely intelligence can be in preventing disaster. What do you think? Did authorities make the right decision to cancel the concerts immediately, even before all the details became public? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.